Hello everyone, so we are going to create CRUD function using Angular and .NET Core Web API. In previous video, we already created the .NET Core Web API using .NET 9, and if you don't have yet, you can see on description how to build that. And in this video, we are focusing on creating a front end, which is Angular, to consume the CRUD function. In here, I'm using an Angular version 19. So maybe it's better you also use same like me for easier to understanding this course. And let's see what we have in here after you complete the video. You're able to show the data to the table. In here for table button, we are going to use Angular material. For add new menu, we can see there is a dialog in here. You can put the value like this and then submit, and you will see the value automatically added. And then you can edit like 15 maybe, submit. You can see the data is changed. And then last you can delete. There is a confirmation dialog in here, and then you can choose yes or no, maybe yes, and we can see the data removed. Alright, let's start building this application. First, there's a setup we need to have in our web API, so you can open your web API project, and in here you need to go to the program.cs, maybe I close other tab, yeah, we open the program.cs, and then in here we add the course, builder services at course option, add policy, in this case Angular, and then there is a policy we can set up in here, p with origin. So in here we are going to set this Angular application we are going to build will able to access this API. So if we are not configure the course, the Angular should be not able accessing our web API. In this case, we set a with origins, which means we set specific server that are going to access our API, and this should be default Angular port. So I copy and paste it here, and then we allow any header. When the Angular calling our API, they can use any header in the request. Example, there is an authentication header or any header, content type, accept. So this one we always accept any header, and we accept any, any method. Okay, so allow any method is, we have several methods in here in our API. There is a post, get, and put, delete, yeah. So in here we allow our client, which is Angular, able to use any method in our API. And then this is only the setup, and we need to enable it. How to enable it this course is by I call in here app use course and put the course name, which is Angular. And now when we're running this API, our client, our Angular application should able access this API. And let's start creating an Angular project. In here I have an empty folder. I right click using press shift and right click, and I open in terminal. In here I call ng new CRUD Angular. This is the project name, and enter. We are going to use CSS. And I don't want enable server-side rendering. Now it's complete, and then if we see, I can close it. Okay, we can see CRUD Angular in here. And then let's opening using a Visual Studio Code, shift and right click, and there is a open with code in here. And the next, let's install the Angular material. We can follow documentation from the Angular material, it's easy. So this one I'm using a version 19. And then yeah, ng add Angular material, I copy this one, and then open the terminal, paste it, and because I'm using a Angular version 19, so I use a add 19. Okay, there is a confirmation we need to have, yes. And there is a free build theme in here we can use. Actually, I just select random. Okay, this Azure Blue, and then set up global Angular material, okay, yes. And Angular material installed successfully. There is one more thing we need to add in our tsconfig.json. In here, I will need to add this one. Copy because for some cases I'm not able to use the autocomplete for Angular material. So if you have also this issue, so you can use this one. Type routes not modules under compiler options. And maybe it's better to reload our Visual Studio Code. Okay, I reload window. And the next thing, we want to set up our service to connect to our web API. So I can close it. SRC, I think let's add in here. So ng generate service, I put under services folder and then menu service, menu only lah, menu. Okay, let's see if it's created. App services, okay, created menu service. I want to remove this one. And then let's inject the HTTP client, HTTP client. And we define also our API endpoint, private API URL. This one should be, I open again the web API project. In here launch setting, I'm using a HTTPS to run our web API. So I choose this HTTPS port and put here /API/menu. And then in our web API project, we have a model in here, which is a menu model. We need to have also this model in our Angular project. By that, we need to copy this. You can search for C# to TypeScript class, and then I choose this one. Paste here, convert. And as you can see, you can get this one, copy, and then make another folder as a models. This one, a menu. And paste here. And now the model is exists. We can continue again on the service. Let's have a one method for get all. It will return a observable of menu. Oh, in this case I need to define a menu. Okay, I need to import models.menu/menu, I mean. And then we return HTTP, this HTTP. Oh, we need to set a private. HTTP get menu and then this API URL. Okay, so this will calling our API/menu URL in our web API, which is returning list of our all menu, and we able to call it. Maybe we add another copy and paste here. Get menu by ID. This is observable menu only. This is get menu, but in here we need to have a /ID, and we need to have this one. ID is a number. Okay, so we can get menu by ID using this. And for create, we will accepting a menu, and then it will returning string actually any, and we return this HTTP post this API URL, and then put a menu as a payload, and then the response type we need to set to string. Response type is a not string or text. Okay, this one, but for menu actually it's accept ID, but we want ID automatically generated. So what I have is I just set the menu ID to -1. This is a dummy value actually. So later the ID will automatically generated in our web API. And then the next is for update. I copy and paste here. Update. Update we use a put, yeah. Put, this one we don't need. And yeah, that's it. And the last is delete. Delete is almost same like this. So I copy from here. Delete. Get ID number. This one should be delete. And that's it. There is one more thing. We are using HTTP client. So there is a config we need to put in here. Let's clean up. And this one should be provide HTTP client. Okay, nice. And now the service should be okay. We can start showing our data to UI. So we can go to the app component.ts in here. there is some component you are going to have in here, so I just copy and paste here, and you need to import the Angular material. Okay, this one why error. Okay, this is expected. Currency pep have warning because we are not using this one yet. That's fine, we can leave it. Okay, all import are ready. Now to use the Angular material table, we need to define what column we are going to show. In here, this is how I code it. So this is have a list of string contain the column we are going to have, name, description, price, category, and action. For letter there is a edit and delete button. And the next thing, we need to inject menu service. Inject menu service. Why there is an error here? Okay, I need to import inject in here. And then later we are going to use dialog, so I just import it only right now. Dialog, inject math dialog. And then to store our data, we have a data source. The type is a menu. It's an empty array. Menu, we need to import, I think. Okay, yeah, models menu. So let's have a method to call our menu service get all. So load menus. This menu service get all, we subscribe and get the menus here, the value to data source. So this data source is come from the menus, map it, and I think this one need to menu, come from menu, and then index. Close it like this, and ID is a menu.id, name is a menu.name, and the rest you can add like this. So now the load menus is complete. We want to call this load menu when the page is open. So ng on initialization, I remove this and then call load menus. Now the component is complete. Let's having an UI to showing this to Angular, to showing this list of menu to our UI. This is a default UI, so we can remove all. To make this video faster, so I just copy and paste and explain to you what is the code in our UI. So in here, this is our header letter. We are using a flex and showing this header to a center. And then we will have two div, which is a container and center table. And inside this, we are going to show our table. First, you can have a table, math table, to define this is a math table. And for data source, we are going to have data source. We have defined in this one in here, okay. And then close it. Now, if using an Angular material, we need to define how each column will look like. Example like this. This is a name column. So we will have a several column in here, right? Name, description, price, category, and action. So we need to have this container each column to define how the column will look like. And then this is the column definition we got from here. Column definition need to exactly same, yeah. And then the header name, this is for our header. I don't want to put it like this. So name, and this is the value we are going to show in each row of table. So we are going to show a name in here from the menu in data source. And then you can just add the other. And this is the other. So we have a description, price, category. So we also able to set specific template. Example in here, description. I want to have it width of 200 pixel. So we can set like this. And then this one is not complete yet. We need to have one more thing. After category is actions. So we will have the button letter. For now, I just want to put like this, actions, and then have empty value. And that's okay. Later we can modify. And then you will need this code to define the value we are going to show in our table. This one is a header. So we define by math header row. and then it will show column based on display column we define in our here. And then after header, we will looping each of the value to showing the row in here. If you having a problem about this one, I think there is a documentation in here. Where is it? Table in here. So you can see, yeah, this is basically what I do. I just got the code from this. And yeah, you can read from this if you still not understand how the table is work. And make sure you select the version correctly. And now let's style it a bit. We go to the app component.css and you can use this style. Okay, basically this is how I create a container. This is a width. We don't deep dive in here, so basically you can just see. And in here we make a table having a border radius, and this is the background color of our header. And this is basically we make the table strip, so every out column will have this background color. And then this one I just remove the border column, border bottom. Okay, and then we go to the style.css, and I want you to have this style. This is the background. We have a linear color for our background, and then there is a danger color. Later we are going to use this for our button. Just type it so you are not need to insert it again later. And save. And now let's see how our code works. Just call ng-serve and make sure your API is running. Okay, and seems there is an error. If we open the console, you can see there is a several error in here. Cannot read property, and then the error from the API, I think. So I close it. The one issue is come from this one. Actually, we cannot leave this as empty. So I just copy here and put no value in here like this. So it should be for fix the first issue. And then next for our style, this is a center table, but in our here we set a center table. Maybe I put this center table. And then for our API, this one I was wrong. It should be without slash. So like this. And then so let's try again. And now as you can see, you able to see the data like this. And then next, let's have a add function. First, I think I can close all, add new component to showing the dialog. This is a what I manage ng generate component manage menu dialog. Enter. Okay, as you can see in here, manage menu dialog. What is this? Okay, I need to remove this one. Okay, this one I also don't need. And first, let's having a button inside here in our app component. We want to put the button above the table, so you can go into the container in here and put this code. This is basically showing button using a mat button. It will call the onAdd function in our component.ts. It should be not exist yet. And let's see in our here. Okay, in here onAdd, we will call the function to showing the dialog. And I think I already inject dialog. Okay, this one already. So constant dialog reference, this dialog open. We open the manage menu dialog component, and then I want to set specific width to 100 pixel and close it. And we want to detect after the user successfully add. If dialog ref after close the dialog, we subscribe and then result. If result, then we want to call the load menus, which means if there is a value when we close, usually it will null. So we will load the menu, which means we successfully add something in our database. If there is no result, it means maybe either we cancel the dialog or there is a file when loading, inserting the menu. And then let's modify our menu dialog component. In here, you are going to need this module, and then let's import all. Okay, this all the required module. And then we need to inject the dialog references, inject dialog reference of manage menu dialog component. Oh, this one should be mat dialog reference. Okay, why inject is not okay? I need to import. This is injecting the dialog reference. It's different with we have in here. We injecting the mat dialog. The difference is for this to initialize the new dialog. Example, in here we do opening a dialog. So we initialize a new dialog to open, and then for this one, we getting the reference of our dialog in here. So we getting the dialog currently we have, which is a manage menu dialog, and then this will be used later for closing this dialog. And then let's injecting the menu service, inject menu service, and then we need to have a title letter to show it's a string empty. Oops, it's a string and empty. And for form, we are going to use a form group. So menu form is a form group. And then let's modify our constructor to be like this. I think I copy a paste. Okay, like this to make it fast because this video is take longer. Okay, basically in here I need to add the reference. This one should be also, and the menu should be come from models.menu /menu. I mean form control. You need to import what again? Set value. I think this one should be this. What it does is actually this manage menu dialog is accepting optional value of menu. So when we open the dialog, we can pass the menu in here. If a menu value is empty, then we're not showing anything in our form, which means we're creating a new menu. And if we pass the menu to our dialog, which means we already have the value before, so this is the edit menu function. And then we show the menu we pass in parameter to our UI in here, which is a menu form. And then let's have a on submit. After the submit button is clicked, let's define a menu. Menu is come from this menu form value. This one should be constant. And then if menu is ID is exists, which means this is an edit. So when the submit button is clicked, we call the menu service update, and we bring the menu here and we subscribe. Okay, next. If there is no issue, then we close the dialog. Close. Okay, we close this dialog if the update is success. Else, if there is an error, we should getting a console log, maybe error updating menu, and then let's pass the error. Okay, so if there is an ID, we are going to call the menu service update, and if there is no, then we are going to call the create. So I copy, paste here, this one is create, and then creating a menu, basically same. And now let's modify the UI. First, we are going to have this is our dialog title. This title value come from here, we define for the content, mat dialog content, we will have a form using a form group. This is a menu form, better we put like this. And then on submit and the submit, we call the on submit function. Close it. It should be put like this. Now for our UI, I will use like this. This is showing a name text field using mat from field. This is and using an outline style. There is a two style, field and outline. You can see on form field, this one I think. Yeah. No. This one, form field appearance. Yeah, there is two, field and outline. So basically I got the code from this. So you can just copy paste here also, and then you modify as you want to. And the important part is you need to define form control name exactly same like we define in here, name, description, price. So I continue for the other. This is a description. For description, I'm using a text area. You can see there is the difference in here. And then the other seems still same, using a same input, but for price I'm using a type number. And the other is same. And the last, I have a button in here. This is a submit button. Make sure the type is submit. And then the other button is this one. This is a cancel button. And there is no need to call any function because we put this mat dialog close. Mat dialog will automatically detect that if we click this button, it will close the dialog. And the class danger in here is come from here we defined before. And there is small changes in CSS you can put like this in this CSS. Okay, let's start seeing the changes and just serve. Oh, it's already okay. Nice. Okay, you can see the dialog. Nice, amazing. Submit. And there is an error. Let's see what is the error. There is no error. Oh, there is one more thing I forgot. In manage menu dialog component, when we successful, we need to return true. And also in here. Okay, let's hope there is no issue again. I save and try. Add new menu. Test only lah to faster. 10, 12 is okay. Submit. Okay, good. Finally, we are able to complete the add new menu. And next is going to have a edit menu. Okay, I think we close all of it. And then we don't have the button yet, right? In here, okay. This should be actions, and then in here, we are going to have two buttons. One is for edit and one is for delete. And this is the button. This is button for edit. The class is warning. It will call on edit later. We will define. As you can see in here, it will bring ID into our on edit parameter. And then there is small style in here, and then there is an icon for edit. And also for the delete button, we use a class danger we defined before in style.css, and then it will call on delete. We will define also later. And let's copy this and go to this one on edit. This should be accept the ID is number, and then basically it do the same like we have in here, except when do update or edit, we get this ID parameter. And what we will do is we get the data by this ID, menu service, get menu by ID, we put the ID and we subscribe it. We get the data value returned by get menu by ID. And here we pass the copy in here, put here. And if there is a data, we bring the data from this. Okay, if you remember, the data is from where is it? This one, menu. So we will pass the menu. Is for easier we rename it as a menu. Menu. Okay, yeah, data is fine. So we bring the menu we got from the get menu by ID and pass to the manage menu dialog component. And then for on delete, maybe I just create only delete ID number, but it's not do anything. Number should be lowercase. Let's see, is there any error? Oh no, right? And should be no changes in our manage menu dialog because we already handled this before. So yeah, on submit it also update the data. So let's see. Example, I want to update this one to price $5 maybe. Submit. Okay, now the price is changed. For delete, I want to show the dialog also, but this one is confirmation dialog. So let's create a new component for that. And first, let's create a component nggc cert of a confirm dialog. Where is it? Okay, this one. I want to delete the unit test. We will have a title in here, string empty, and message, string also, and empty. And let's make a constructor. Okay, this one faster. Inject, I need to import from Angular core. This one, I need to import from the Angular material dialog. And also I need to import these two module. Add the reference and complete. It's basically same like we have in the management dialog in here. Where is it? Constructor in here. The difference in here we receive a menu object, but in here we receive a two string value, which is a title and message. And later we are going to show this title and message in our confirm dialog component, and you can show this value. This is the dialog title, so we put the title here, and for the dialog content we put the message we set before. And for the action, we have an action for button no. If we click no, then the math dialog will close and not having any value. But there is another, is a yes button. It will returning true value in here when dialog close. And there is a function to autofocus to yes button when the dialog is appear. And basically just that. Let's call this confirm dialog when we click the edit delete on delete in here. So constant of dialog ref this dialog open, in this case confirm dialog component, and for data we will have a data. There is a title, not this one. Title is delete menu, and for the message is are you sure want to delete the menu. Okay, and then what we detect when the dialog is close, after close, where is it? After close, we subscribe getting the result in here. If result is true, if you remember, we return true after clicking yes button, then we call menu service delete and bring the ID, and we subscribe it and check next. If delete successfully, we call the load menus again. Else if error, then we got the error, and also show the error into console. Error when delete menu. Okay, should be fine. So in here we showing the dialog, confirmation dialog, and after dialog close, we check the result. If it's true, in here we click yes, then we proceed the deletion, and then if success, then we refresh the table. So let's see, delete. Okay, the confirmation appear. If you can see, there is a slightly blur on the yes button. So when you click enter, the yes automatically called, but the data is not gone. And let's see if we refresh. Oh, it's deleted. There is an issue when I delete, so actually I found the issue in here, menu service. So it should be not menu. After we delete, we didn't return menu again, but it should be return a response type of text. Okay, and then there should be no changes in here. And let's see, I refresh, I add new burgers, descript, submit, and if I try to delete this, nice, now remove it successfully. Okay, now all the feature is complete. We're able to see the data, we're able to add new menu in here, we're able to edit menu, and then we're able to delete, and then showing the confirmation dialog, and let's delete again, and yeah, nice, all complete. If you have any question, you can ask below on the comment section, and hope you're able to complete this tutorial. So thank you for watching, and bye bye.